Test.
Believing that he's an animal he thinks he has the right to kill.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. There we go. Now we're all nice and clear. Hopefully my voice is coming in to you on both YouTube, Livestream, and the Discord. Welcome to the stream. If you have symbols to look at, call them out. Rocket emoji. Yeah. What's up, Stone Pilot? Get that going there. Boom. And boom. On YouTube. Rocket. Come on, Rocket. There we go. To the moon. Man, some people in crypto are pretty happy today, aren't they? What is it? Shiba Inu. I mean, what is Shiba Inu doing? I haven't looked at Shiba in a long time. Well, thank you for joining me. We're back on a regular Friday. Thanks to my manager for keeping me diligent on it. I've had a good couple of weeks here. I mean, one of the reasons that I started streaming again, I had a little confidence boost. I know I've talked about this, made a post about it several weeks ago, mid-August. Man, time just flies. Caught the top of the Nasdaq on August the 16th. Why did I short the Nasdaq? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, it's been going up for a very long time. Number two, it made a spike. Basically, right here at the end of the day, I remember it was in the afternoon, shot up, came back down. That marked the top mid-August on August 16th. So caught that on the way down in futures. And then basically this week came in, had a nice vacation at the beach, very well rested. And I was reading the news on Tuesday, and man, everything was just bearish as bearish. We're going to go back and look at the news on Tuesday. Everybody was so damn bearish on Tuesday that I just kind of had to go long. There's no real indicator there, but it just so happened right there on Tuesday, that morning, the morning of Tuesday, everything sold off. And before the morning was over, it came back up, creating a bullish spike. Basically, it shot down, got everybody thinking that we're going to go to whatever, ES down to 3,000, ES down to triple digits, whatever people have been saying for the last year. And it's so cool because, up here, that's where we had a bearish spike. In other words, it shot up, got a bunch of people thinking it was going to go up, then came back down, closed inside that range. 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks of bearishness until everyone's freaking bearish. And then another spike comes in, and wow, that thing just rallies. There's a lot to say about this move right here. I know that Manaconda has been trading back and forth. Man, he is a machine. His trading account is up a lot this week, and real proud of him for accomplishing that. But me, I took my one trade this week, and I stuck with it, and it worked out. So we're gonna do right about 4:15. I'm gonna do some market updates and take a look at things. I want to take a look at this Nasdaq price action for this week. We're of course going to talk about Bitcoin, sort of my meta analysis of that as well. If you're just joining and you got a symbol to look at, call it out in the chat. I'll give you my opinion. You may not like it, but that will be just my opinion. So, yeah. What do you guys want to talk about today? Let me pull up my notes. ALB. Okay, we'll do ALB. What are we going to look at? We looked at the net. We got coming up next week. Next week is the Ethereum merge from proof of work to proof of stake. That is going to be an interesting event. I got two local barbecues that are going to be celebrating that on Wednesday and Thursday. I think it's supposed to happen. Let's take a look and see. Ethereum merge date estimate countdown. Let's do a countdown. Win merge. So this is going to be estimated date 9/14. So that is going to be Wednesday at right after midnight. That's probably UTC time. So that's going to be actually Eastern time Tuesday, probably in the evening time. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Interesting. I don't think there's going to be much to it. If anything, you really got to sort of do a buy the rumor, sell the news. You would think that Ethereum would have been pumping all this week, but I think the pump is really just that. I mean, what you're seeing is the pre-merge pump, and it's kind of muted, honestly. Bitcoin had a big run today, 10%, making a lot of people happy. Making a lot of people happy for sure. I like to stay apprised of various Bitcoin chats and things like that, especially some of the maxi chats. And man, they are really having a circle party, and they're a bunch of jerks. So Ethereum is poo. I mean, it's a thing. I mean, I like to rub shoulders with people that love Ethereum and hate Ethereum, people that think Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency. And look, Ethereum showed what the possibility of blockchain can be. And just about every cryptocurrency that comes on the space right now is in some way trying to do what Ethereum does, but better in some way. Smart contracts are a fantastic use case. It's what DeFi is based upon. It's great. So I don't think it's poo. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, we're going to look at the VIX. Yeah, so we're going to look at ALB. We're going to look at the VIX. Call them out if you got in the chat. I'm still getting a few minutes to let people kind of stream in. Pardon me, I'm going to get my drink. There we go. So, Jen, you feel like talking and shooting the shit with me a little bit here? Are you able to talk? Are you driving or what? Let's see if I can unmute you. Hang on. Have you been able to talk before? We might have to figure that out later. You've talked to me before, I think. So, all right, let's check on a few things towards the end of the day here. And then we're going to talk about the equity markets. First, hilarious timing, weekly viewpoint, wild currency moves. Yeah, the DXY is something we're going to talk about for sure. People are finally starting to take notice of DXY. It's almost sort of become a meme stock in a way because of how it's been going on a parabolic ride. For those that don't know, DXY is the dollar index. It's the aggregate of all the, well, not all of them, but major world currencies like the euro, the yen, Canadian dollar, to a lesser extent, New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, all aggregate against the dollar. And the reason the DXY, the dollar, has been going up so much is because the Fed is raising interest rates. And historically, traditionally, fundamentally, interest rate differentials are what move the foreign exchange markets. It's just that interest rates for every country have been at zero for the last almost 2 decades, or declining for the last 2 decades. And now they're actually starting to have a divergence. And so I've been encouraging people to get a Forex account, start watching Forex, foreign exchange. Like, not the reason people haven't been looking at Forex for the last couple of years is because it has been not very interesting, and they've had cryptocurrency. Basically, Forex satisfies that itch of being open 24 hours a day, 6 days a week, as opposed to cryptocurrency, which is open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, which I don't think is a good thing. I've spent way too many nights back in the early days, several years ago, looking at a 5-minute chart of Bitcoin at 3 a.m. And I promise you, there's no money to be made in a 1-minute chart of Bitcoin at 3 a.m. Get your sleep. All right. So let's start jumping into the analysis for this week. All right, so first of all, S&P 500 as represented by the ES futures. I can clean up my notes for the week. I'll redraw them later. All right, so on the weekly, still just kind of hanging out. I mean, we got this week right here that was bullish, but the trend for the year is still pretty down. In fact, it's interesting because things were so bearish over the last 2 weeks, but it really hasn't changed the trend very much. We're still kind of in this limbo area. Nothing really to report there. Nasdaq, on the other hand, as I mentioned, this was a really good trade from Tuesday morning this week. Really, really like this. There's actually 2 notes here. It's getting a little cluttered. Let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. We don't need to see it. Ichimoku. I like clean charts. So basically, this week began. Well, let's go back. So first, August 16th, you had a bearish spike here, which marked the top. And then we had 2 weeks of bearishness. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, why don't you take every spike, or what's the difference in spikes? Well, you'll notice that here you had a little price inversion here on August the 23rd, which was a sign of reversal. In fact, you could have taken this, and it actually would have given you a little bit of profit. I did not take this one. But in the middle of trends, like so, see, I would have tried to have taken that up to this 50% retracement level of the high to that low, and it would not have completed. In fact, it came up here. There's probably a news event here. Yeah, it was around 8 a.m. Not sure what happened on August the 26th, but you had a bearish spike that went down to the other direction. So actually, bear spike worked. Bull spike worked for the 3-to-1, not to where I would have taken it. Bear spiked, chanked it down. This area right here, okay, this area right here is a pretty interesting area when it comes to price action of trends. Here's why. When you get something started, and I feel this very viscerally, I guess you could say, because as I was sitting in the trade here and it comes down, you've got a little bit of profit. You're not to the target, which is somewhere around in here. You're always going to have this sort of questionable price action where you're not quite to the target. You're not quite in profit. Your stop is working pretty well, but you have to be patient through this. And as the trend continues, you also have to kind of be patient, and then you're going to get some kind of a snapback. But even with that snapback, it doesn't change the trend. In fact, the fact that it did not even come up to this 50% level is bearish in itself. Then once you have that retest that fails, it comes down, now tank, like straight down. That's when people start to, okay, this thing is going, and they capitulate. But what I'm trying to say here is that you have to have patience for these trends to develop. The same thing happened with this week, where you had this spike right here that triggered it, and then you had the not stopped out. Same thing that you had here. You're not stopped out. Again, fractal patterns. That's what I love about price action. Is it's never exactly the same, but sort of the same pacing, the same sort of thing is happening. And then, of course, midway through the trend, you have this snapback, and that was the 8th, which was yesterday. And I'm sitting here in my long position, just like I would be sitting here in my short position. You have that snapback, and you're like, oh, should I have taken profit? Should I have stuck with my original target? The answer is you should stick with your original target, because you got that snapback. Get everybody thinking that maybe this thing is not going to reverse, but then when it finally does break this high, you get the price action you have today. This is a sort of, I guess you call it, capitulation to the direction that this price wants to go. So you're always, when you're in this is swing trading, okay? Day trading, in, out. But if you're going to take something more than a couple of days, it requires patience. And then every day you're going to wake up feeling something different, and you have to stick with your target, because the market's going to do things like this in swing trades. You have to be able to sit here and say, like, you know what? I know where my risk is. I'll know where my target is. That's what I want. I'm going to wait until it gets there. And it's going to test you. It's going to try you. It's going to try to get you to get out of your position down here, close to where you got in at right here. Now, that wasn't worth it. But it's so interesting to me. Let me know if I explain that pretty well. Give me some feedback, because I want to like kind of share with people. That's why I do this. I want to share with people, what I have noticed over years and years and years. I know a lot of people like to use RSIs, like to use MACDs, they use all these indicators, but nothing beats experience. And really, the experience has nothing to do with indicators. It's really psychological. And in the case here, when you have these kind of swings, it's about remaining patient. And hopefully, by me articulating to you guys why, it's not really why price moves this way, but like what price does in the course of a good trend, in the course of a good trade, it can help you all be patient through it. So that was the story of the Nasdaq this week. Now, why it's popping up, I don't know. One thing that was very interesting was this on Tuesday, first trading day of the week. Two people sent me this tweet. We're about to experience a sovereign debt crisis caused by the Europe energy crisis, all like a capstone on the 100-year fiat experience. Here's how I think the next 6 to 8 months go down. Putin, CPI, DXY explodes at 58%. Or excuse me, DXY to 150. Now, you see this kind of thing, and what is this person doing? What is this person doing? I mean, why is it shared to me? Why did it make its round? Well, because it's FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Okay. And yeah, of course, you're going to talk about the DXY going higher when it is already super high. I mean, yeah, you see something going like this, and you're like, well, it's going to go higher, and that's going to create. What are you doing? You're basically just talking about DXY to the moon when it's already gone on a very meteoric rise. And anytime I see a chart like this, doesn't matter what it is, I wouldn't say I get nervous, but I'm not a buyer. I'm not a buyer of this kind of pattern. I just can't. I can't bring myself to do it. Doesn't mean it's going to pull back. In fact, if you look at the weekly here, this pullback in the DXY that we had that people were talking about today, it's nothing. It's nothing in the whole trend of the dollar. Nothing's fundamentally changed. Interest rates are probably still going to continue rising for the dollar, which means that the differential is going to keep on going on. So, I come in, I think I was reading. Let's bring up Zero Hedge. Hang on, Zero Hedge. What I'm trying to articulate here is the meta-analysis of markets. And not only did I see, I think I posted in Discord, I think I said two things. Number one, everyone sure is bearish today, Tuesday, September 6th. And then there was a spike. Okay, let's jump ahead here. Page 8. I want to get to the news because, I read Zero Hedge every day, and it's absolutely Russian and hedge fund propaganda. But if you sort of meta-analyze it, like what do they want me to believe today? You don't automatically take the contrarian opinion, but you should definitely question the narrative they're giving you, because it's pretty much just all FUD is what rises to the top. All right, so capitulation is coming. These kind of headlines. This is what I'm talking about. Like exactly. So again, bring up the Nasdaq and take a look. When everyone is saying capitulation is coming, it is 6 a.m. on. It's right about here. I'll redo my notes. Let's clean things up. I like clean charts. So basically, let me see it. All right. You have a chart like this. You have a chart going down like this, and then a news article comes out at 6:30 in the morning. Capitulation is coming. This market is going to have a move 20, 30, or even 40% lower before it hits the bottom. DXY trades north, returns from a long weekend. Yeah. We will probably bounce around here. Hey, somebody got it. Time to get busy. What did this guy say? I want to see what that guy said. But futures markets, global markets rise. That was 751. I think that's talking about this. Earnings decline. I need to read about that. The Trump SPAC, DWAC. I've been, you know what? He's still going to save social media. He's still going to save freedom of speech. Mark my words. The eagle will fly again. Come in, and really here's the key. The key here is this one right here. Capitulation is coming. And sure enough, as the morning goes along and the market opens, man, you get so much bearishness. Capitulation is coming in. And then it snaps back. And so by looking for that sentiment, what everyone is saying, and then seeing it reflected in price in a technical, statistical abnormality. That's what I try to call these spikes. It's a statistical abnormality. Price moved quicker than it had before, snap right back. That's your signal. And so on a morning where everyone's freaking bearish, everyone thinks the world's going to end, you get something like this where it got everybody short that was going to short, everybody sold that was going to sell. Now who do you have left to sell? And from that point, you can get yourself a reversal. So watch for that. All right. Let's see. Yeah, let's take a look at the VIX. What has the VIX been doing? I used to do a good weekly look at the VIX. I'm starting noting these back in the early part. Okay, so when everyone thought that the world was ending, what was interesting was that the VIX was pricing in less and less volatility. In fact, it still continued. The June low, the stock market was lower, but VIX was actually higher. So at the beginning of the year, I had come in with the assumption, you know what happens when you make an assumption, make an ass out of you and your assumption, that a lower VIX meant that this was a potential reversal. Well, no, apparently not, because we had a lower VIX in June, or excuse me, we had lower VIX spikes all the way into May, but we continued to go until June, which was lower. So as far as using the VIX to try to time market bottoms, That being said, it has come back to the 50% of this range right here. Whatever, if you want to make it from the bottom to here or the bottom to here, basically this whole range of November up to here. And these moves, these August moves, have not shot the VIX into that 27 higher territory. 27 is a clear inflection point on the VIX, and all through August, ping, ping, ping. So we now have on the VIX, I would say, I would look at the 27 level as, will this bear market continue or not? So far, it's holding. I got to look at this price action on the VIX, and I got to say, this thing is coming down, and that means that the market is going to go up. So VIX would imply to me that the bottom should be in, and volatility is going to decrease, which insinuates that the market is going to slowly creep up. You know, I'm not going to go on the record and say it, but how far do we have to go to retest the high? We need 16%. That's a lot. But the end of the year, this is the S&P we're looking at now. The end of the year would be right about here. Info line. Ooh, man, that would be a race. That would be a race to get to the year's high. I thought we could back before the June dip here. I would have thought we could have probably retested and made a new high for the year. I would not rule it out. I would not rule it out. I wouldn't. Now, why am I bullish? Why am I not starting to mark off bearish territory? Well, because look, in any given year, there's going to be a lot of FUD every damn day. People talk about how the stock market is going to crash 20, 30, 40% like they did in that news article. But you got to assume that the stock market is going to go up over the long run. So I think generally you just kind of need to be bullish and optimistic. That being said, we'll look at that VIX and we'll see how this rally goes. All right. Talked about stocks good enough. Let's take a look at crypto, starting with Bitcoin. All right. So everybody in my Bitcoin maxi chats are patting themselves on the back because we got a 10% move in Bitcoin. But does it really change the trend? No. No, it does not. I mean, we're looking at from November to here, for year to date to here. And as far as the Ichimoku analysis is concerned, I mean, the real key thing here was back in August where everything topped out. Bitcoin never actually got bullish. That being said, Bitcoin is still below the cloud. Momentum is actually still out. This is one of those little tweaks of price action where you came down to retest the bottom, basically the June lows right here, and rounded it out. It was poised. Got a lot of people thinking that it was going to break out, but you need the breakout first. So now we're coming back. So let's take a look at this right here on the swing time frame. This 10% day definitely got things back to bullish. So I'm going to take a look at the last downtrend we had from August, middle of August down to here. And we need to see if we can recapture at least the halfway point, the 50% level. There's some pretty good inflection there. This price action here before it dipped on August 25th. So 21,877, let's call it. That is going to be the halfway point. That's right there at that retracement level. I'm going to go in here and add an alert. Price crossing up. Recovered. August bear run 50%. All right, we'll let TradingView tell me when that happens. If you're long, if you're swing trading long, that's your target. Need to look for that to hit, just like the Nasdaq hit its 50%. That was my target from the trade here. I was looking at a 50% of this leg down, basically, which it hit right around here and then kept on going. Really and truly, if you're being aggressive, you should probably hold it for the entire length. And so that would bring it back up to 12,836 on the Nasdaq. And yeah, for Bitcoin, the resistance you're going to find is up here. Now let's look at Ethereum. The Bitcoin don't touch the 17K, stay attentive. Yeah, 17K is still what I've been looking at for all these years. Here's the thing. Between you guys and me, I still think 10K. I still think 10K would not surprise me, and I'm still looking for 10K. I think going down half from where it is now would do a good bit to wash out some of the last remaining Uber bulls. There's just way too much cockiness in the Bitcoin space still. They're way too optimistic, and you only get a bottom when everyone, including the most religious zealots, have given up on it. Could be wrong, but just again, it goes to that whole meta-analysis of the psychology of the market. You need all those people to get washed out, unfortunately, and then you can start to look for a bottom. That being said, there is a case to be made if you want to look for a bull case that this is a double bottom. We shall see. But I've seen it all before. I've seen the last many decade of more, 2010s when I first got started. I mean, you had situations like 2015 where you would have, just a malaise back in the 200s. Yeah, Bitcoin was that price at one point. And then you have a big, big washout that will occur at some unforeseen point. And then finally, once people are washed out, you get to see a big move up. Same thing happened with COVID. Or there's where's the 2000? Yeah, the 2018, 2017 did the same thing. You had the malaise, the quiet time, just not going anywhere, getting people really excited, thinking that the move is going to end, and then falls off. And so this is why I'm just incredibly skeptical. I'm incredible because I've seen all these many times before, and then yeah. So I've seen all these situations before. You got to get people completely bored and Bitcoin off their radar. When you stop hearing about how it's going to become the central bank reserve currency of the world, then you can find a bottom. And then people will be right. But I think we're just in that boring time. And that's the key thing. Time has to last. People have to get bored with it. All right. Let's go back through some of the comments. I think people have been talking. I've been chit-chatting. Oh, actually, let's look at Ethereum first, and then we're going to look at comments. All right, so what are we doing on Ethereum? So again, that's going to be the big news coming up this week. Ethereum has actually pulled back to its halfway point, 1727 here, 1720 of the move down from mid-August to the end of August, that 2-week cycle. So we're actually at a resistance right now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens because price is starting to kind of hang out here going into the weekend. It could very well get up into bullish territory, get momentum out, and it could go bullish. It has held the lower side of the cloud, it's held supports and continued to move up. So that's entirely possible. The charts here are pretty clear. I mean, Ethereum is more bullish than Bitcoin. But now let me talk about my other, which is Monero. Monero has also recovered same way. And again, it looks a lot more close to Ethereum, where it's holding its supports on the way up rather than getting full bearish. But yeah, Bitcoin is full bearish. And Bitcoin market cap. Yeah, what's the market cap doing? You got a big jump up here in this recent rise because it was but man, it's Bitcoin market cap dominance from the summer onward has just been going down tremendously. Let's look at it in the broader scope. Yeah. I mean, it basically came down to a bottom. Oh, that's interesting. So you can't look at everything, but that is interesting. Look what happened with Bitcoin. Bitcoin basically got down to a market cap dominance low. Huh. Yeah. I don't know if I'd use that as the indicator or not, but hey, hindsight, everything in trading is 2020. But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting to see how Bitcoin basically hit that low. It's a low from even 2018 when you had the when Ethereum first came on the scene. You had the altcoins, the shit coins, and then in the bear market that followed, people moved into Bitcoin as the safe haven currency. But this recent bear cycle has not been showing that. In fact, one of the things that I like to show is the Ethereum versus Bitcoin and Monero versus Ethereum. But let's bring up, that's Monero Bitcoin on the left, and let's bring up ETH BTC, not BTC, ETH BTC on the right. And year to date, where's our year to date? Right about here. Kind of big drop there in June. Yeah, so it did sort of function as a safe haven currency in June when you had that really fearful capitulation. And I think that's due in part to the fact that most of that stuff happened in the DeFi space. A lot of those lending platforms, a lot of people were using Ethereum, so that would kind of make sense why Ethereum got hit more back in June. Okay, if you guys got questions, now we're going to start talking about what you guys want to talk about. So let's take a look. All right, Dr. Chelsea. Yes, patience is key. As far as prognostication, I like that word goes. Made the call yesterday at 1 p.m. for a 2% day on the Nasdaq. Bearishness was ridiculous on Reddit. Yeah, I mean, as the saying goes, don't stare into the abyss lest it may stare back into you. I'm butchering that Nietzsche quote, but I try to stay off of broad social media. I look at a couple of specific things, things that I have friends on, local groups. But broadly, if you follow Reddit and stuff, I'm afraid that I would get sucked in and start believing as they do. I mean, it's very powerful groupthink, and it's all wrong. Like the herd is massively, massively wrong when it comes to trading. All I know is being contrarian, and sometimes I'm contrarian to a fault. I have a fool of a brother that always picks the wrong direction. Yeah, you got to keep. I was reading Market Wizards book, the more recent one, the Hidden Market Wizards, and the first, not the first chapter. One of the guys was talking about how he had this friend that was just so consistently wrong that he was an indicator. Yet you can use that friend as an indicator. It's so commonplace. He has a talent for being wrong. Yeah, called at 1 p.m. to say he loaded the boat on puts. Ouch. And I said calls and +2 on Friday, Monday, then retrace. Anyway, great stuff. Love your feed. And if you're about to say all-time high end of year, I would agree. Yeah, anything's possible. In fact, the fact that so many people doubt it's possible makes it almost likely, as a matter of fact. Stone Pilot says, I'll be watching how the VIX behaves at 2116. What was 2116? Why 2116 specifically? Question: what happens if, say, by November we get an inflation print that shows the bottom dropping out? What do you think happens after that all-time high? Also, I was on your feed last Friday and said crypto would be significantly higher by next Friday. Good. 42K on the last one. We'll be shorting, is that dollars you made? We'll be shorting crypto Monday, end of day, and Tuesday morning. Yeah, honestly, as we go into this, like I said, it's sort of a buy the rumor, sell the news sort of situation with Ethereum. You really have to. I'm really just unimpressed with the fact that with such a major event happening in Ethereum, it's not pumping. That just speaks to it being a bear market. In a bull market, the market rises on bad news and rockets on good news. And in a bear market, it tanks on bad news, and on good news, it just kind of does nothing. And that's really kind of a meta analysis. Meta analysis of what's going on. I mean, you would think that this would be a really bullish thing, but people aren't buying because it's a bear market. So, yeah, if you're going to buy the rumor, sell the news, there's not much to sell. It hasn't really rocketed up, so it's kind of hard to use that logic. If I was seeing a rise into the merge, I would definitely be looking for shorts, but it's kind of not doing much of anything. Poke it with a stick. Come on, do something. GLD, yeah, okay. Let's look at GLD. Let's look at it. So I use we'll look at GLD for you. So gold really kind of teetering on the edge here. You do not want to see this thing break these lows, but honestly, in the broader sense, we're looking at the weekly right now. I mean, this year, March, you had basically what amounts to a false breakout. I know a lot of people got in thinking that it was going to go up, but then tried to sound the alarm to the gold bugs out there that, look, this high that we made in March didn't even reach the high of August of 2020. That's a double top. And on basic double top pattern, which you would basically call this the neckline, because that's where basically you got the up, one top, two top, and then there's a neckline where it kind of settles out. If it breaks this below the neckline, this thing could retrace all the way back to 120. I mean, basically, the theory behind double tops is just theory, but just telling you what I know. Not that I look for these, but I don't trade these. But when people, if you look in a textbook, this is what they'll tell you to do. You look for the trade to go up, tops out, comes down, and then makes another top. And then the distance between the top and this little inflection point, this right here, which I measured out in the box, that becomes your target if you take this short off the double top. And this is pretty extreme, but that's what the textbook would say if you start to break down below. Ideally, you would be shorting it somewhere in here on the potential of being a double top. Gold futures look about the same, but as you guys may know, I've been short silver for a few weeks now, basically when we started breaking down here in June. So silver as a precious metal is already making its ride down. I got a few more months left on the SLV options that I have. But yeah, I was trying to target somewhere around 15 on here all the way out to the end of the year. Gold is actually holding its ground here, but we shall see. So precious metals not showing much sign of hope. Maybe it'll hold here, but you need to watch the next few weeks. So let's go back to our Discord chat. Just chatting. I think ALB was what we want to look at. ALB. There's a few stocks I want to look at. I see why you want me to look at this. Okay. So this is a weekly chart. Here's your high. This right here, if it would have not come back up in this week, this I would classify. So basically, again, double top, and you have a. I'm going day by day on the week, and then boom. That to me would be a false breakout. That would be a short symbol. But your stop would invariably be above this high right here if you were going to take it short. So you kind of put a little stop there. And then by this week, boom, you triggered your stop. This thing could go higher. This thing has actually gone from a fake breakout to a confirmed breakout. People are still buying this. This is good. This is good. As I make my note. Good call. Good call. This week, 2 weeks ago, week before last, the long I got into UPS, but it did not work out. Yeah, it stopped me out here, and then I did this little tomfoolery. That kind of sucks, but you know what? That's okay. The one that I am still in is BMY, Bristol Myers. And this was arguably, okay, cool. Hasn't quite got to my target yet, but it's making its way up. Bristol Myers did the 50% pullback here, from basically last November. Pullback from the whole entire trend. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. What else are we looking at? Stocks. Okay, WTI, I think you're talking about crude. Crude oil is going down. Again, we talked about this in our futures chat. We keep a good eye on oil futures in the Discord. And I had thought, and I'm wrong a lot, I thought that we were going to kind of find a support here in this zone around 96 and be kind of constrained by 120. But as time goes along, it's gotten below the 96, and now it came back up to retest and hold that 96 level before tanking again. So this is in a bearish trend. It's broken the support and then come back down to hit it as resistance, and then now it's coming down. And so, yeah, a little too late to start getting bearish, but I think oil is going to come down. I think gas prices are going to come down. I think the most contrarian thing that I think that I can say about the market right now is that everything's going to return to normal as opposed to the world ending. All right. Well, if you got any questions, get them in. I'm gonna start wrapping up here in a minute because I got a concert to go see. I'm gonna go see Willie Nelson, and man, that guy is old. He is 89 years old. I cannot believe this, but half a century ago, 50 years ago, he was my age. That's crazy, man. I wonder if he's gonna smoke on stage. All right, let's see. Anybody got any remaining questions? All right. Fridays, what's up? Music loud and clear. Fridays, I do my work meetings at this time. I'm listening to both and talking on the work one. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep doing the Friday. I've thought, yeah, thanks for that gift. Thought about doing maybe a 3 o'clock. Would 3 o'clock work better for you? Mafiz? 3 p.m., 1 hour earlier. Maybe give some people some time to do it at work. Who works on Fridays anyway, right? So, all right. Well, I think, Bass Coning. What is Shiba Inu doing? Hold on. Shiba Inu. Do we still 5% today? Hey, Adam. Oh, whoa. Adam is up 15%. Whoa. Look at that, Jen. Look at that. Look at that. Shiba Inu. Giving people a little bit of hopium. Oh, okay. Last hour Norok signals. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining this Friday. And I'm going to go listen to some country music. Hope you guys have a good weekend. And we'll see you back on Monday. Trade wisely.